teaches multiple ways how to solve multiplying polynomials. We're teaching one. Okay, we're going to pull everything. If we have two binomials being multiplied together, we are pulling it out. All right, what does full mean? How do we use full? Basically, all we're doing is we're taking two binomials. Okay, a binomial has how many terms? Two terms in a binomial. So this one has two terms, this one has two terms. So we can pull these out. So full, if we go by this, what you need to know this, the first terms. These are 2x and x are both the first terms in each binomial. Does everybody agree with that? We'll multiply these two together. 2 times the coefficient of 1 is 2, and then x times x is x squared. Alright, then we move to the outer terms. Well, if you look outside the two binomials, we have a 2x and we have a 5. So we'll multiply these two together. 2x and 5. Well, 2 times 5 is 10. X times 1 is x. Alright, then we go to the inner two terms. Well, these two terms are inside the binomials. So we multiply 3 times x. That becomes 3x. Alright, and then finally we have the last term being multiplied. This is the last term of this binomial. This is the last term of this binomial. So we multiply these two together, and we get 3 times 5 gives us 15. What's going on? Not yet. Most of them don't start opening up till December.
When is the state track meet? Do you know what month?
First week in May, I believe.
First week in May, so May. Okay, we're having to
Yeah. I think it's the first week in May.
First week in May. I'll look on the state website.
Okay.
This week will be the state track meet.
Yes, I know. All right, so now, once you multiply everything out, combine like terms. We have a 10x, we have a 3x. Those are our only two like terms we have. So this 2x squared stays 2x squared. 10 plus 3 is 13. X is stayed x. All right, and then we have plus 15. All right, look at this one. Look at this. Same rules. We're doing the same thing. We have a binomial and a binomial. So we're going to multiply these two together. Okay? First terms go first. 2x and 3x. Multiply these together. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. Alright? Outer terms. We have a 2x and a 5. So 2x times 5 gives me plus 10x. Alright? Inner terms. X, or negative 7 and 3x. Negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. X times 1 is x. Alright, and then the last two terms. Negative 7 and 5. Negative 7 times positive 5 is negative 35. Now, do we have any like terms? Yes, our x terms are the same. So we have a 10x and a negative 21x. 6x squared stays the same. 10 minus 21 is negative 11, x, and then minus 35. All right, questions so far? All right, attempt on page 481. Attempt where it says 2b. 2b. Or excuse me, 12b squared minus 7b minus 10. All right.
I got 15 from somewhere.
All right, let's look at it. You got your first terms, 4b and 3b. So I'm going to multiply these two together. 4b times 3b. 4 times 3 is 12. b times b is b squared. All right. Then your outer terms. This 4b and this 2 are on the outside of these two binomials, correct? So you've got 4b and 2. That's going to be plus 8b. All right. The inner terms. Negative 5 and 3b. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15b. All right. And then your last terms. Negative 5 and 2 is negative 10. Now, this 12b squared stays 12b squared. All right. 8b, negative 15b are like terms. So 8 minus 15 is negative 7. And then negative 10 stays the same. Alright, so that's your answer. Now work 2C on the same page. 2C. Alright, let's go over this one again. Now, if I'm working this one, first, outer, inner, last, the same rules. Okay, so I'm going to take 2y times y. That's my first two terms. 2 times 1 is 2. Y times y and y squared. Alright, my outer terms, 2y and negative 6. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Y times 1 is y. My inner terms, negative 5 and y. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5, and then y times 1 is y. Alright, my last term is negative 5 and negative 6. Multiplying two negatives becomes positive, and 5 times 6 is 30. Now, I've got a like term with negative 12y and negative 5y. Same signs, add, keep the sign. 2y squared stays 2y squared. Negative 12 minus 5 is negative 17y, and then plus 30. Alright? Now, if you look at 3, 3 is a little different, okay? So, when I'm working 3, let's say I've got a binomial and a trinomial that I'm multiplying together. I can't use the full method because this is only used to multiply 2 binomials. Well, I've got one binomial, and then I've got a trinomial, all right? So, the way I'm going to work this one, I'm going to take every term in this binomial, which is only 2, right? And I'm going to multiply that by every term in this trinomial. All right, so what does that mean? What's the first term of the binomial? So let's take 6x, and we're distributing it to 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. What's the next term of the binomial? Plus 5. So plus 5 times every term in this trinomial. 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. Well, distribute, we get 6x times 2x squared. 6 times 2 is 12. X times x squared is x cubed. 6x times negative 3x. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. X times x is x squared. 6x times negative 5. We get 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. And then x times 1 is x. Alright, over here we get 5 times 2. That's going to give me 10. X squared times 1 is x squared. 5 times negative 3x. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. X times 1 is x. And then 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Alright, now, what do we have to do next? Combine like terms. We don't have another x cubed, so x cubed stays the same. 12x cubed. Alright, we've got a negative 18x squared and a plus 10x squared. Negative 18 plus 10 becomes negative 8 x squared. Alright, then we have a negative 30x and a negative 15x. Same signs, add, keep the sign. Negative 30 minus 15, negative 45x, and then we just have negative 25. Alright? Does that make sense? Questions?
Can you hold right here?
Good. All right, next one. If you look over here, okay, what happens if you have two trinomials? Well, you do the exact same thing that we did right here. We take every term in the first trinomial and multiply it by every term in the second trinomial. Okay, what's the first term of this trinomial? 2y squared. Well, I'm going to take this 2y squared, and it's going to go by every term over here. So 2y squared times 3y squared. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. Y squared times y squared is y to the 4th. Right? 2y squared times negative 5y. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Y squared times y is y cubed. Right? 2y squared times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Y squared times 1 is y squared. Alright, then you move to the next term. This 3y. So 3y times 3y squared. 3 times 3 is 9. Y times y squared is y cubed. 3y times negative 5. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Y times y squared. Alright, 3y times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Y times 1 is y. Alright, and then your last terms, you got negative 1 times all these. So negative 1 times 3y squared gives me negative 3y squared. Negative 1 times negative 5y gives me positive 5y. And negative 1 times 2 gives me negative 2. Now what do we have to do? Combine like terms. Yes, each term by every term. Alright? That's how we distribute when we have a trinomial times a trinomial. Okay, each one of these terms multiplied by each one of these terms. Alright? So this 6y to the 4th, we don't have another y to the 4th, so it's good. We can stay 6y to the 4th. Alright, we've got a y cubed and a y cubed. So negative 10y cubed plus 9y cubed is negative 1y cubed, or just negative y cubed. Alright? Then we've got a y squared, and a y squared. Agree? 4 minus 15 is what? 4 minus 15 is 9. Negative 9, or excuse me, negative 11 y.
Okay, negative. You say 9, what?
Negative 11y. Right? 4 minus 15 is negative 11y. So these are squared. These are gone. Now you've got negative 11y squared minus 3y squared. Negative 14y squared. Okay, negative 11 minus 3, that's negative 14y squared. Then you have a 6y and a 5y. Both positive. 6 plus 5 is 11. Plus 11y. Alright? And then you're left with minus 2. That's it. That's your answer. Okay? Now, attempt this one, 4A. It's on page 482. On page 482, it's 4A in your book, and it's also right here. So attempt this one real quick, and then I'll let you, if we don't have any questions, I'll let you get to your homework.
You said 4A.
4A, yes sir, it's on the board as well.